Hey guys, Danny here at Partay. So, first off, I just want to say sorry that I got the upload up late last night. I don't know what's going on. The past two uploads that I've tried to put up have frozen at about 62%. So, I'm not really sure if that's an issue on my end or on the YouTube side. But, we'll dig into that and try to find out what's going on. But even though it was uploaded late last night to announce the opening for Goppity Goop sales, I was still extremely pleasantly surprised because we had quite a few orders just received overnight last night, and I've been spending most of this morning going through and responding to some of those folks, or either gathering more information. One thing I would say for anybody who's looking to order, do me a favor, if you could just make sure that you indicate whether or not you want the spray version or the roll-on version, because I'm passing this information to the crew and I want to make sure they have that. They've got a system until we actually link the payment system to where the administrator there will get the info. So in the meantime, I'm just kind of passing this along. So I want to make sure that we don't have any mishaps with the orders. So whenever they're shipped, you get exactly what it was you were looking for. So, once again, pleasantly surprised this morning. I thought maybe we'd have 1-2 orders, but we had quite a few. So thank you guys for your support. We appreciate you being adventurous out there. Secondly, on the Things to Know Thursdays, I'd stated that on Tuesday I did some things, and then I said but we'd have that ongoing each Thursday. Well, me and my wife are going to be flying to Chicago next week on Thursday to visit family for Easter, so I won't be here to do Things to Know Thursday, so I'm going to do a quick one today where I'm just going to cover a couple of articles. But before I get into that, because this is going to play in to one of the things to know, what I'm showing now, not necessarily the flowers, but just the setting that we have this in right now. I also wanted to tell you this center panel here. You'll notice the center panel here. That is the roll-on version. I figured maybe it'd be helpful for folks to see them together. Sorry. So you could see now the roll-on version actually for this is a little bit brighter. You'll notice there's a reason for that. 2 coats on the spray-on version, 3 coats were put onto the roll-on version. So the more coats, the brighter it's actually going to get for you. And I just lost connectivity. Hold on just a second. All right, sorry about that, guys. We've had service interruptions for the past few days, and I'm not sure exactly what's going on there. I thought maybe it was a Shield because I did an upgrade on it, and I rolled that back, and it still was doing it. So I think it's more in our connection here. So anyway, long story short, we'll get it fixed. So the first thing I'm going to talk about from a Things to Know Thursday are controlled light demonstrations. Now, we specialized, anybody who's been following us from the beginning, when we first started, we did a lot of light displays. When I say they were actually very eccentric, okay, over the top, we did a lot of light at the screen, front facing, as a manner of showing you how light could be controlled to some degree through diffusion. And that was really the purpose of it. It wasn't to, draw attention to, hey, this is so over the top. It was just to show how different diffusion properties could spread light across the screen. And, I know that, on the high technology, superior stuff channel that they talk about a lot of light in the room. What I would say is that I've still yet to see anybody out there that surpasses the Gauntlet video that we did, which is all front facing light. Okay, I'm not talking about a couple of lights in the ceiling that's hitting just a small area of the screen. This was a matter of having light covering the whole screen, the light all in front of the screen facing up at the screen, not to the side or along the top facing the camera, so that you can see just how bright those little lights are, but only a little small ring of it was hitting the screen. Or this kind of thing where we're doing all kinds of crazy camera tricks. I mean, this is the most common that you see, and look how bright that makes everything look. Okay, let me get it back to normal. So why would somebody then, it makes sense that you wouldn't want to do controlled light displays, because That'd be a cakewalk, right? Your image, if you can pull up an image in light, then it should look even better in the dark. Well, for the most part, that's kind of true. But here's where you have to leave that line of thinking. A lot of times, if you have really bad imagery, if you have screens that don't really perform optimally, the light actually helps you. It helps mask and cover up a lot of the flaws in screens, because once you turn the lights off and you go to a dark room, and that screen doesn't improve a whole lot, it might be a little brighter. You don't see the washed outness and some of the coloration on the screen, but the whole image overall still looks pretty much like crap. That's why, if you're a discerning customer out there, you want to see it in light. If it's any kind of ambient light fighting type screen, you want to see it in light, but you're also going to want to see what it looks like in the dark, so that you can see how crisp it is or is not, how well the colors actually hold up, whether there's truly color shift. All of that shows more in dark environments, which is why I believe personally, that individual stays away from dark environment displays. Now, I'm not a dedicated type guy. I've made that clear. I like living environments, and even in this room now, we still have light coming in. There's front-facing light coming in from the window beside me. But you want to see it in a low light environment, so that you can see just how well the colors are articulated. You want, how crisp the colors are, how accurate they are. You want to be able to see, does the detail get washed out, oversaturated, or does it look very realistic? And, I'm, just giving you some realistic displays here. Now I'm sitting from a distance away from there, but, the coloration of the squirrel, the articulation of detail, and a screen that's actually a blackish screen, is, in my opinion now, it's excellent. And I'm not saying that because we created this was really the goal, right? This is what you have to meet, to me, if you're going to satisfy a customer like myself. I want a screen. Our goal is always for the screens to look as much like a television as possible. I'm not talking about just having pop colors and, I don't like a screen that looks like it's got some sort of milky film over the top of it. It's got very bluish hues, those kind of things. So, I think for a customer that asks to see a display in the dark, for you to basically impugn that customer and make them feel like, they're stupid, if it's going to hold up in the light, it's certainly going to hold up in the dark, is actually just stupid. Because if I'm a customer and I want to see it, damn it, show it to me. That's what I want to see, because that's my environment. So, to me, once again, it's just all these forceful sales tactics. So that's one. And what I was going to do, I just remembered before I lost service, is I was going to show you. I thought it might be helpful. Boy, that's twice I've done that. I know why now. It's because I've got the mouse hooked up, and every time I move, it slides. I wanted to show you real quick. So I've got the rolled on panel right there in front, and this is spray on. And this was 2 coats, and I believe I've already covered it, but just in case, this was 2 coats, and this was 3, which is why this is just a little bit brighter, but I thought it'd be helpful to see both in a controlled environment, so you can see the articulation of both. Okay. So next, one thing that you have to question is, I'm going to turn that mouse over so that stops. One thing that you have to question is all this push towards antiquated technology, right? Antique type projectors. But it makes sense when you really think about it, guys. Why move to 720 projectors? Well, I think the answer is right before you. It's a move towards selling refurbished old 720 projectors, that you buy at a discount, sell them for a premium. And you're selling people not only stuff that's had to be refixed and may have problems as they move forward, but on top of that, you're selling stuff that's already old. If I walked into Best Buy and they had a bunch of old tube TVs in there, that's not the place I'm going to want to get my television, right? I want the latest and greatest technology, at least, if not the latest and greatest cutting edge stuff, because a lot of times that's out of, some folks' reach price-wise, or even if they have the money, they don't want to spend it on that. But at least you can get something that's current and up to date, right? And not, because my feeling is, I'm going to pause this for a second. My feeling is that if you're not careful, and you're a follower of his, this is where he's leading you to. You guys remember, let me find it here. I had it up. There we go. You guys remember this? The old, oh, hold on just a second. The old overhead projectors. You guys remember those? So it wouldn't shock me. I mean, I'm really at the point now where it would not shock me whatsoever if he came back and started trying to sell you overhead projectors at this point. To me, it's just silly that somebody would go back, but it makes perfect sense when you think about it in context. And the context is as simple as, I'm now going to start trying to make money off people by selling them old used projectors. And that's basically what it boils down to, and just to clarify also, here's another thing to know. In the one video, he states that 4x8, piece of wallpaper stuff and, whatever length he, tries to sell you for $235,100, that the manufacturer makes that special for him. Unless his name is Kenneth Rufus Bird, I don't think so, because that is roofing felt and it's made specifically for roofing. So, those kind of things. I know there's two sort of camps out there. There's the camps that think that he just has a gross lack of knowledge. And I'm not saying I don't agree with that, but I'm in the camp that where he has enough knowledge to where he's trying. I mean, you don't make that up. No company told him, hey, we're going to manufacture this material just for you. For one, he could never move enough for them to make it worth it for a manufacturing company. That's just the basics. Talk to anybody out there. Call them yourself. Call a manufacturing company and say, look, I need, can you make me a specialized, couple of rolls of this material? They're going to tell you no. They're in the business of selling mass volume. So they're not going to make that just for him. And it's roofing felt, guys. It's like every other week, there's some new stuff that he's picked up from Home Depot that he's trying to shuck off on you guys for a premium. It's been the foam board, which you can buy at Home Depot for insulating your walls, the plywood and all that kind of stuff. So all I'm going to say is things to know. That stuff is not specially created for his little bitty basement company. That is stuff that he's just going out and trying to find the cheapest stuff he can and sell you the whatever's in that mess that he sells as a mix and get you guys to buy it at a very, very high premium. Very overpriced, extremely overpriced, guys. And that's not a matter of opinion. I'm just looking across the market and, Screen Goo used to sell for $600 for a 2-part batch. And it was 2-part. There was actually some technology there, which is going to move me into, sort of the next phase of this, of things to know. But, at least it did what it said it do. And it didn't make any claims that weren't false. I can't say that about his stuff. The next thing is, coatings. There's only about 6 physical reflective additives on the market that you would be able to use in a coating. You could put anything you wanted in there, but the things that are going to work, there's about 6. Now, of that 6, there's only about 3 of them that really work in the way that, well, let me say this, all 6 would work. The problem is 3 of those work in very specific ways. So you can tell by looking at the screen that is not what it is, which essentially leaves metallic, mica, or some sort of like diamond dust or glass dust, which, that stuff really doesn't work very well. Most of the other things are things that you would procure from a company much like, if not 3M. They have some of the best physical additives on the market. But it's none of the stuff. See, the things that they use have specific physical properties in the way that they behave, and you don't see any of that in his technology. So it's not technology, guys. This is once again just mica, metal flake, and now poly. You know, I know I'm probably going to ruffle some feathers by saying this, but quite frankly, I think he just ripped us off. He just, you know, over the duration of time. If you remember, he wasn't doing these big lighted environment type videos until we came on to the forefront, and then all of a sudden he's all about ambient light. He's got to be in ambient light. So you know, I just see him as a fraud, guys, and I just say things to know. Don't listen to a lot of that stuff. And here's another key thing, okay? He has these crazy ideas with the material and things like that. And I want you to notice, anytime somebody brings up one of the misrepresentations or falsehoods that he puts out there, in the next 1 to 2 videos, he really just he doubles down and drives it home. He'll say it multiple times. Just that's the hard-headedness, stubbornness, foolishness, actually, I would say, of this man, who I see no Christian value in whatsoever. And I'm speaking for somebody who knows quite a few, and how, you know, being Christ-like like that will actually move you to areas where you can't do those kind of falsehoods in good conscience. So, you know, there's a whole lot of people that like to throw that around as something that they use. And I'm not trying to get on some sort of religious chant here. I'm just saying, you know, don't be swindled by that, guys. Please. You know, for your own sake, don't be swindled by that. But when you talk about some of the crazy ideas, I'm just going to give you one example. If you've watched any of his videos, he's got a short throw that he uses, and he sets it up on its end rather than the way it's supposed to be placed on his quote-unquote gaming table. Here's something you need to know. Those projectors are meant to sit in specific ways. Once you get off a 15 to 20 degree tilt, you run the risk of not only overheating that and wearing down the bulb, but you can cause permanent damage and even wreck your projector doing that. And it says so specifically in the material that comes with your projector. So for him to, you know, come up with this great idea to show you how to make a gaming table that way is basically him leading you to destroy your projector. So, you know, once again, be careful what junk you listen to from this guy. And plus, who's going to use a gaming table like that? I mean, your field of view is going to be all wonky. That's the reason we make screens, so you don't have to sit down and try to look at, you know, across the top of the screen, sitting across from you, you know, 4 feet or so, 3 feet. It's just all foolishness. It's just some of the dumbest things I've seen in my life. Makes no common sense, much less any artistic or scientific sense. So once again, things to know, guys. Once again, we appreciate your support. I'll probably get another upload sometime either over the weekend or early next week before we leave for vacation. In the meantime, if you have any questions, we're glad to answer them. And once again, I know I've already said it, but thank you for your orders, and thank you for your support. We appreciate you being patient and us getting the payment processing with our website in place. And as soon as I'm not even going to really post a video, I'll just upload a video that's maybe just 30 seconds long that just says payment processing is now available. I may tell you real quick what pages to go to, that kind of stuff. But we'll keep it very, very brief just to let you guys know that the payment processing is open. So once again, thank you. You guys take care and have a great day. Bye.